श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम अखण्डानन्दसम्बोधः वन्दनात् यस्य जायते गोविन्दं तमहं वन्दे चिदानन्दतनुं गुरुम्. So yesterday we were seeing विरुद्ध धर्म आक्रांतत्वात् परस्पर विलक्षणो जीवेशो वह्नितुहिनो इव शब्दार्थोऽपि. So there we said it's a logic, it's a syllogism. Jīvesho paraspara vilakshano. Jiva and Ishvara are different from each other. Viruddha dharma akrantatva, because they have different nature. Varnitu, like the fire and the ice. So this is the second pramana. In third pramana is a shabdarthato api. Even through the shabdartha. So even through the shabdartha, you have this pratyakshadi virodha, we said. There is a contradiction with pratyaksha, etc. So that pratyaksha virodha is established here. Shruti establishes, see, shabdarthatopi means, let us see that. That's why I started this, right? Shabdarthato means, see, he said pratyakshadibihi. Pratyakshadibihi means through the direct perception, etc. That's plural. Okay, pratyakshadibihi, bihi is plural. Now, we said there is a contradiction with respect to the pratyaksha, direct perception. Then we went on to say there is a contradiction with respect to the anumana, the second pramana. Now, if there is only contradiction with two pramanas, then we are going to say pratyakshadi bhyam, not bihi. Bhyam is dual case. Bihi is plural. Third plural, instrumental case plural. Okay. So, he says, pratyakshadi, what is that bihi? What is the third pramana? So he is bringing the verbal testimony, third pramana, because generally these are the three pramanas which are accepted by everyone, by people who accept the Vedas. We are not interested in people who don't want to accept Vedas. We are talking about people who accept Vedas. So pratyaksha, anumana and shruti, three pramanas. That is good enough. So, these are all too complicated. Let us give up this non-duality stuff itself and just accept whatever is said. Then he says, pratyakshadi virodhasyadidi aikye tayoh parityakte. Shruti vachana virodha bhavati mahan smriti vachana virodhascha. So, if you are going to give up because of this fear, this is too complicated. Because of this, if you are going to give up the idea of non-duality, then you are going to make the shruti and smriti your enemy. Meaning, you are never going to achieve anything in your life. That is what is the truth. If you are going to negate the shruti and smriti, then you cannot understand the truth. There is no other way. Neha nana asti kinchana, and there is no other path. There is shruti very clearly says neha nana asti kinchana. There is nothing multiple plural here. So this is the only way. Okay, so Shrutyāpi ekatvam anayoho tatparyena nigadyate muhu tattvamasi ityaspat angīkārya śruteḥ. This is where we stop. He said, Shrutyāpi anayoho ekatvam tatparyena nigadyate. Shruti also very clearly, as its purport says, this is the non-duality is the purport. For what? Between these two, Ishvara and Jīva. Where is it said? Again and again through tattvamasi. Asmat tattvamasi vakyā angīkārya śruteḥ. Therefore, we have to accept the statement of the Shruti as its face value, meaning its purport. Okay. So therefore, he says, vākyārthatve viśiṣiṣṭasya saṃsargasya ca vā punaḥ ayathārthatayā soyam vākyārtho na mataḥ śruteḥ. vākyārthatve viśiṣiṣṭasya saṃsargasya ca vā punaḥ ayathārthatayā so ayam vākyārtho na mataḥ śruteḥ. Viśiṣiṣṭasya saṃsargasya va. Viśiṣṭa, visheshana yukta is viśiṣṭa. Endowed with an adjective is viśiṣṭa. Okay. Then saṃsargasya. Samsarga means association. So either to the adjectives or any other association. Adjective association or any other association. Vākyārthatve. If you are going to understand the meaning of the tattvamasi statement, then ayathārthatayā. you are not going to gain the yathārtha. Yathārtha means the right knowledge. You are not going to gain the yathārtha. Therefore, ayathārtha, since it is going to give you the wrong knowledge, soyam vākyārtha śrutena mataḥ. Therefore, this meaning through adjectives or through any other association is not acceptable by the shruti. Not accepted. Na mataḥ, na sammata is not accepted by the shruti. Śruteḥ. Okay. So, then what is that which shruti accepts? We always say our tradition does not just pose a doubt, it also answers the doubt. He says, akhaṇḍaikarasatvena vākyārthaḥ śrutisammataḥ. akhaṇḍaikarasatvena vākyārthaḥ śrutisammataḥ. The shruti accepts, śrutisammataḥ. Shruti accepts, mataḥ, sammataḥ, sam upasarga purva mata. The sammata means the same mata. Some you add, that's all. Some nicely. Okay, accept. Mataḥ means accept. So it very clearly accepts. Shruti clearly accepts what a vākyārtha, the word, the meaning of the statement. How? Akhaṇḍaikarasatvena. As akhanda ekarasa. There are two words, beautiful words. Akhanda and ekarasa. Akhanda, na khanda iti akhanda. Normally, akhanda, if you say it is okay. Ekarasa, if you say it is okay. But you are going to give you both because there should be no confusion. There is no ambiguity when you say both. Akhanda ekarasa. Akhanda means unsplit. Okay. So, if it is one whole, unsplit. Okay, good. You are given a coffee. So, it is one coffee. You drink. You wanted sugar, you add, you are asking the person to add some sugar, so he is adding it. You drink it, there is no sugar, a light amount of sugar, so you adjust it. Okay, this is good enough. Or your proper amount of sugar is there, so you start drinking it. But after almost when you come to the end of the cup, it becomes very sweet because the sugar settled down. So there is a change, there is gradation in sweetness. Like in the cloth, there is a gradation in color. Though it's one cloth, but there is different colors. In one corner it's one color, in the other corner it's another color. So he says, ekarasa, it is changeless. It is not just partless, it is also changeless. It is na khanda iti akhanda. That is not with, it is without split, unsplit. Non-dual. It is not just absolute. Akhanda, it's absolute. It's not just absolute. It is also changeless. One nature everywhere. Okay? To say that these two words are used. But how can this akhanda ekarasa be all that? I will explain that. sthūlasūkṣmaprapañcasya sanmātratvaṃ punaḥ darśayitvā suṣuptau sadaikatvaṃ upapādya sadaikatvaṃ pradarśayitumicchayā aitadātmyamidaṃ sarvamityuktvaiva sadātmanoḥ bravīti śrutirekatvaṃ brahmaṇo'dvaitasiddhaye sthūlasūkṣmaprapañcasya sanmātratvaṃ punaḥ darśayitvā suṣuptau tadbrahmābhinnatvamātmanaḥ upapādya sadaikatvaṃ pradarśayitumicchayā aitadātmyamidaṃ sarvamityuktvaiva sadātmanoḥ bravīti śrutirekatvaṃ brahmaṇo'dvaitasiddhaye. Beautiful. So he is giving you the essence of the 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, where this Tattvamasi is dealt with. He says, Śrutihi sadaikatvaṃ pradarśayitum. Shruti, to establish that the Sat Brahman is one non-dual. It starts with Sadeva Saumya idamagrāsīt ekameva advitiyam. Sadeva Saumya idamagrāsīt ekameva advitiyam. Okay. It starts with oh dear, Saumya, oh dear, Sadeva, Sad ekameva agrāsīt. Agra, śruteḥ pura. Before the creation, only Sat existed as one non-dual. Okay. By starting with that, then he says, pradarśayitumicchayā, to display to you nicely, meaning to give you the knowledge of that truth. Shruti is interested in imparting that knowledge to you. So we should be ready to grasp it. That's all. So what does it do then? It's not living just, okay, said. No. sthūlasūkṣmaprapañcasya sanmātratvaṃ punaḥ darśayitvā. Second statement. sthūlasūkṣmaprapañcasya, the sthula, the gross, sukshma, subtle, prapañca, jagat creation, the gross creation and the subtle creation, both these gross creation and the subtle creation are sanmātratvaṃ, is nothing but existence. Punaḥ darśayitvā, by showing this again and again. Now we have to understand the meaning of this. The gross and the subtle, they are both existence. They are both self, nothing but self. Oh, then we can enjoy this. Because we are enjoying the self, we are not enjoying anything else. We are enjoying the self. Let us enjoy the self. That is not the idea what is said here. When you say the gross creation and the subtle creation, both are self, we don't mean it is for something to be enjoyed. You can enjoy because it is nothing but self. No, it is not said for that. Then what is the meaning? Because that is how we will interpret it. What is the meaning here? If I say both gross and subtle are existence alone, I mean, let me take my hand. On my hand, empty hand, I say, I superimpose a pot. A superimposed pot exists in my hand. There is a superimposed cloth which is existing on my hand, empty hand, right? So when I say superimposed cloth or superimposed pot, what do I really say? Do I see the absence? I see only the hand. So when I say I have on the table a superimposed pot or a superimposed cloth, what I mean is table. When I say on the earth, on the ground, I have superimposed car or superimposed something, I say only ground. They are nothing but ground. That superimposed object, that pot is a ground. That pot is a table. That pot is hand. Nothing but hand. Right? So, in the same way, the Shruti establishes that the gross and the subtle creation are nothing but the self. How does it say? Neti, neti. That is not, this is not. That neti, na iti, na negation, na iti, negation. And na, iti means it's a code. Na, not this. Na, not this. By saying not this and not this, the Shruti negates the gross creation and the subtle creation. Negates the gross creation and the subtle creation. Okay? Now, if there is no gross creation, there is no subtle creation. What exists? Sanmātratvaṃ. Only the self exists. Punaḥ darśayitvā, by showing it again and again, suṣuptau atmanaḥ tadbrahmābhinnatvamātmanaḥ. In the deep sleep, there is nothing other than the self. Swamapito bhavati, the Shruti's words. Swamapito bhavati. He as though lost himself. He is immersed in himself. Meaning in the self. This duality is lost. Tadbrahmābhinnatvamātmanaḥ. There, you though go into sleep and get established in the self, that is merging. That state of establishment is merging. It is not dissolution. Right? Therefore, you come back and you start again the same game. So, swamapito bhavati. Okay? So, idam sarvam. Aitadātmyamidaṃ sarvam. All this, idam sarvam, whatever you see, they are all Atma Swarupam. There is nothing other than Atma. It is all of the nature of Atma. Okay? Iti uktyaiva, with this very word, with this very statement, brahmaṇo'dvaitasiddhaye, to establish the non-duality of the self, sadātmanoḥ ekatvaṃ bravīti. Sadātmanoḥ, of the sat and atma, of the self and of the absolute and the individual. Identification, ekatvaṃ bravīti. The identity is said by the Shruti. The Shruti establishes the identity between the sat and the atma. Sadātmanoḥ, dual case. So between the sat and the atma, between the Brahman and the atma, Brahmatma, or Paramatma and Jivatma, Ishvara and Jiva, whichever way you want to say. You can see that. Okay? Now, akhaṇḍaikarasa. How do you say akhaṇḍaikarasa? For that he says, sati prapañce jīve advaitatvam brahmaṇaḥ kutaḥ atah tayo akhaṇḍatvam ekatvam śrutisammatam. How do you say akhaṇḍaikarasatvā? Let me explain that. He says, sati prapañce jīve va advaitatvam brahmaṇaḥ kutaḥ atah tayo akhaṇḍatvam ekatvam śrutisammatam. Prapañce jīve va sati. Sat, saptami, sati. So, if the prapañca, jagat or jīva exists, have existence, if the jīva or the jagat have existence, prapañca, jagat, the creation or the individual, the jīva exists, then brahmaṇo'dvaitataṃ kutaḥ, then where can be the non-duality for the self? Self is non-duality except the creation. You are not giving any exceptions here. So, if the jagat and the jīva, if the creation and the individual exists, then there is no non-duality. How can there be non-duality? Therefore, tayoho akhaṇḍatvam ekatvam śrutisammataṃ. Akhaṇḍatvam, the non-duality, ekatvam, oneness, is accepted by the Shruti. The non-dualness of the jīva and the Brahman, Ishvara and jīva, tad padartha and tvam padartha, and identity, non-duality and identity, oneness is established, is accepted by the Shruti. Okay. So, I don't see that. When I see Tattvamasi and you, whatever you said, through that when I understand, I see only contradictions. You yourself said pratyakshadibihi. So for that we say viruddham, and again we have to, that is why we said we have to go to the lakshana. We can't gain the meaning of the direct meaning. We have to resort to the indirect meaning, implied meaning. Okay. In implied meaning there are multiple types of implied meaning. Which type? There is no secret. He is introducing you the which type. Okay. So he's vruddhamsha parityāgāt pratyakshādi na bādhate aviruddhamsha grahanāt na śrutyāpi virudhyate. Viruddhamsha parityāgāt pratyakshādi na bādhate aviruddhamsha grahanāt na śrutyāpi virudhyate. Viruddhamsha parityāgāt, by giving up the contradictory states. The contradictory states, the parts which are contradictory to each other in Jīva and Ishvara. There is no contradiction with the pratyaksha. Pratyakshādi na bādhate, there is no contradiction with pratyaksha, etc. Okay. But if you are going to say that there is no contradiction with the pratyaksha, etc., if you give up, but still you are not bringing the identity. So for that he says, aviruddhamsha grahanāt, whatever is not contradictory to each other, that stage, if you are going to accept the commonality between them, if you accept that, then śrutyapi na viruddhyate, there is no contradiction with the Shruti also. If you are not going to accept the contradictory state, the pratyaksha, etc., the direct perception, etc., will not be an obstacle. If you are going to accept the common state, then the Shruti also is not an obstacle to you, to the understanding of Tattvamasi. Therefore, what you have to do is lakshana hi upagantavya tato vākyārthasidhaye. Therefore, you have to resort to upagantavya, samipe gantavya. You have to go closer. Closer means resort to surrender. You have to surrender to lakshana, the implied meaning. For what? Vākyārthasidhaye, to gain the meaning of the Tattvamasi statement, the Mahavakya. There is no other way. Okay. Now, what kind of, how many types of lakshana are there? And when is it needed? And what kind of lakshana should we already said. Okay. So, those things needs to be established. So, he says, vākyārthanuvattyaiva lakshana bhivagamyate sambandho'nupapattyā ca lakshaneti jaguh buddhāh. vākyārtha anuvatyaiva lakshana abhivagamyate sambandha anuvatya ca lakshana iti jaguh buddhāh. So here when we say viruddhamsha parityagati jīva jagat, we say prapañce jīve sati binne. If they have existence, the jagat and the jīva, if they have individual existence apart from the self, then how can there be non-duality? Why we have to say this is the school of duality, Madhva school we call it. So the Madhvacharya. So what he does, Madhva he does is he accepts the Ishvara, Jiva, Jagat all to be different. They are all entirely different from each other. Okay. So the Jiva will always remain Jiva. The Jagat will always be Jagat, inert. And the Ishvara will always be Ishvara. You cannot gain any kind of association with Ishvara. You can go and pray to him there instead of doing it here. That's the only advantage. Without any hindrances, obstacles, you can go and pray to him. So this kind of idea. This is a study, like we study Vedanta for so many years. Those people study this dual school of Vedanta. Okay. Now, this boy who studied Vedanta like that, he is a sannyasi. He goes to Kashi. He says, okay, if I'm going to fight with a verbal fight, if I'm going to have a verbal duel with someone there, a person who is establishing non-duality, then I can establish and win over him. I can establish this duality. If it is done in Kashi, then that is the best thing. So he goes there to Kashi, Varanasi, the seat of knowledge. And there he asks people who is the best one. So they say this old man, he is the best one. So he goes to the old man and asks for Vada Bhiksha. Vada Bhiksha. Bhiksha means alms. Vada means duel, verbal duel. Alms for verbal duel. See, even that, even to ask for food, you are begging. That's a different thing. Even verbal duel, you cannot go and fight like that. You have to ask for a bhiksha. Okay? You have to ask for alms. You have to ask for begging that. Please give me a chance for having a verbal duel with you. So when he goes there to ask this, that old man, he says, okay, wait, I have an important job today. Over my head, there is an important job. What is that? This barber comes. So that's a full moon day. So he tonsures him. On full moon day, the sannyasis tonsure themselves. Okay. So he comes and he gets himself tonsured, and never does he ask, what is the beauty? Tonsuring your head and beard, you don't have to see the mirror because he is going to remove everything. What is there to see in the mirror? But still, this Mahatma, this old man, he says, give me the mirror. It was like, this barber is like, what? Okay. He respects that people. He looks here and there and he says, oh, Thakur, his name is Thakur. You have made me very beautiful. You are God. So he starts touching his feet. And that fellow is running because how can a guru touch a disciple? How can a guru touch a disciple who is a barber? His feet. He runs here and there and he says, no, I am not God. No, you have made me beautiful. If you can make me beautiful, then you are God. Someone who makes something is God. You are God. And he runs here and there, and finally this fellow, this barber, he comes to this old young sannyasi and requests him, prays to him, please protect me, save me from this fellow. Oh, Swamiji, I don't know what happened to him. Please save me from him. Then he stops that Swamiji and says, what are you doing? He is your barber. What drama are you playing? He stops. Okay. You are a sannyasi, you won't lie. Are you really not God? He asked that barber. No, I am not God. God is different. I am not God. I am a human being. Are you sure? Yes. What have you studied? I have not studied anything, but I know. He is different, I am indifferent. He turns to this young man, young sannyasi, and says, he has not studied anything. And he already knows that he is different and God is different. And you have studied for 12 years to know whatever he knows without even studying. Okay? One. And if you already know, if a person who is illiterate can already understand that I am different from God without studying, will that be the meaning of the Shruti? Will that be the meaning of the Shruti? No. So there is a problem with your knowledge. He understands the beauty, the example, and then he salutes him. He does a prostration, he does namaskara, and goes to study the Advaita Vedanta properly. Now, he says, why do you have to resort to the implied meaning? So, vākyārthaḥ lakṣanābhyavagамyate sambandho'nupapattyā ca lakṣanēti ca kutaḥ. vākyārthaḥ lakṣanābhyavagamyate. We normally understand this way. vākyārthaḥ, since the word meaning is not possible, lakṣana abhyavagamyate. We resort to the lakṣana. sambandho'nupapattyā, because the sambandha, the connection between the two words is impossible. Therefore, through any kind of association, between these two words is impossible. Therefore, lakshana iti buddhaha jagaho. Therefore, we resort to the implied meaning. That is what the learned people say. See, normal idea is the word meaning is not possible. Therefore, we resort to the implied meaning. The learned one says, since there can be no relationship between any word and one word and another, therefore we have to resort to the implied meaning. Okay, we'll see this. Om Purnamadaḥ Purnamidam Purnāt Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Viśiṣṭasya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.